our eighth COVID-19 update. So it's hard to believe that we've been in this journey together for 8 weeks, but we do have some things that we want to share with you today that will hopefully not only inspire you, but encourage you as we anticipate what we want to talk about first, regathering Brushy Creek. We are, as a staff, we've been working really the last 3 weeks reading articles that have been supplied to us through different avenues, including Lifeway, Gospel Coalition, the Georgia Baptist Convention. We've got a lot of stuff we're putting together and trying to make sure that when it's time for us to regather and open the doors of the church, that we do it in the safest way possible and the healthiest way possible for you. So if you have a chance to talk to one of our staff members, make sure you tell them thank you. We have killed many trees, printing stuff out, emailing stuff back and forth, and trying to make sure that we do this the right way. But I do want to tell you this. We are going to finalize this decision over the next 7 days. We want to make sure all of our leadership is in alignment, and we're going to have the announcement for you next Tuesday. And we are anticipating, just a teaser for you, we are anticipating regathering in the month of May. But we don't want to commit to what Sunday that would be yet because we want to under-promise and over-deliver. But we are in the first stages of figuring out how many phases do we need to do, how do we slowly bring everything back, and try to figure out our volunteers, all of those things. But we are anticipating regathering as a church in the near future. So please help us begin to spread the word and celebrate, and pray that God would allow us to do that in the best way possible. Now, speaking of that, throughout this time, we want to brag on different people because we have so much that we're trying to do as a church to keep the ministry going, but also to make sure we regather properly. So if you have a moment, I want you to go ahead and comment right now. Make sure you thank Lewis, because take a look at our grounds right now. Lewis has bought him a brand new pressure washer that he's extremely proud of. But as you can see, he's been working on the grounds. The grounds looked incredible for Easter, but obviously we weren't really meeting at that time. So he was already working on what he typically works on in the spring. But over the last few weeks, he is truly making our grounds better and better. You can see just how black the wall was getting there at the CLC and how bright it is now. As a matter of fact, a few of us were really talking together a few minutes ago that the sidewalks will hurt your eyes when you walk outside. So he's done an incredible job making sure that when we come back together, the grounds, the curb appeal looks incredible. So Lewis, you need to go out of your way and tell him that you love him and you appreciate him, because he's working so hard right now to make sure the grounds are ready to go. Also, we're really excited as we anticipate this next week. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, we have our drive-in service. The weather is looking great. I know a storm's moving in the next little bit, but it should be gone tonight, and we should be great to go tomorrow. So we've got a drive-in service tomorrow night at 6:30. When you arrive on campus, we're doing a different radio station this time that we think will work better and be more clear for us. 92.1 FM. So make sure you go to that as soon as you pull into the parking lot. Now, tomorrow night, I want to go and tell you what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the actual preaching event. I want to give you kind of my view from the pulpit, what it's been like for me to preach into a camera, and how I've kind of missed you engaging with me. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if Alan even paid attention to this, but during Easter, I preached the Easter message twice, and I actually told a joke the first time through, and it fell flat with me by myself. So I've missed actually being able to be myself to a certain degree. And so I want to tell you a little bit about what I've been dealing with, and then also share some of your comments tomorrow night, and then talk about how can we prepare our hearts, prepare my heart to be back in front of a live congregation again, and then what can you be doing in order to prepare your heart to be back in God's house, because who would have ever thought at any time in history outside of a possible surgery or something like that you would miss 8-10 weeks in a row in such an unusual way. So we're going to start tomorrow night the regathering process in our own hearts, and we're going to start with talking through what it will be like to be together again under God's Word. So we wanted you to be here tomorrow night in front of our CLC and outside our church offices, 6:30 p.m., and we're going to discuss the actual proclamation of God's Word together. So be here tomorrow night. This Sunday is Mother's Day, and we've got a couple of great special things going on for moms this week. Number one, our women's ministry is sponsoring a special gift for all the ladies in the church. So all the ladies that are high school graduates and older, it's for you, not just moms. We've got a special gift for you, and you can log on to our Facebook page. So if you've never joined our Women's Ministry Facebook page, you need to do so. And here's what you're going to find this Friday. We are supplying you, the ladies of the church, we are giving away Starbucks gift cards, Chick-fil-A, and Ninja Warrior coffee roasters. And this is how it'll work. We'll actually give you a scan code that you'll actually have for your phone, and you can go by Starbucks, buy your coffee. We're going to pay for your coffee as part of your Mother's Day weekend. Or if you don't want to do that, you can go to Chick-fil-A. It'll be the same way. And if you don't want either one of those, head to Ninja Warrior Coffee Roasters that is owned by some of our church members. Give them our password for the day, and they'll take care of your coffee, and we'll settle up with them next week. But we want you to take advantage of 3 opportunities where we can bless you, whether it be Ninja Warrior or Starbucks or Chick-fil-A. So all the ladies in the church, go treat yourself to one thing this Friday. So that's part of our Mother's Day weekend. And then also, we're really excited. I think we had 21 entries into our kids' virtual choir that you will see this Sunday as part of our service. So Mother's Day is going to be very, very special. Now, we had Vision Sunday this past week, Mother's Day this next week, and now some of us are asking, what's next? Well, we had one series that I had planned that was really just going to be a fun series that would just kind of get us to summer. But we're changing that in light of COVID-19 and coronavirus, and we're actually going, I skipped that. We'll come back to that in a second. New series coming up the next Sunday, May 17th, is going to actually be out of Romans 8. We're going to take 5 Sundays and go through Romans 8, and we're actually given the series 2 names. It's going to be called God Questions, but in the same light, it's going to be called Good Questions. So how is it that we see God actually moving through all that we're going through, and how can we have eternal hope in light of physical trial and tribulation? So really, it's going to be looking at our adoption as sons and daughters, about how God works everything for the good of those who love Him, how there's no condemnation in Christ, but yet there's still suffering in this present world. So this, starting next Sunday, May 17th, we're very excited to be marching through Romans 8 together. So we've got a new series kicking off the week after Mother's Day. I'm going to back up and let you talk to you for a moment about generosity. You're continuing to give, and we're seeing that, and we want to tell you thank you for that. But let me tell you a little bit about what that looks like. The last several weeks, you've seen on here, if you've been paying attention, that we've been running about $45,000 ahead on our receipts as opposed to our spending. Well, this week, as you can see, we've narrowed the gap a little bit to about $17,000, $18,000. But let me tell you what we've done. We've actually taken $30,000 and we've written a check to ourselves and kind of moved it from, if you can imagine, from the checking account to the savings account. And here's why. We have a list of things that just need to be done around here. So while we're sitting there with that money, we want to go ahead and put it aside to where we can work on air conditioners that need to be fixed. We've got a sign that needs to be repaired or replaced or refurbished, so we need to do that. We've got parking lot stuff. So because you've given, we've been able to actually put money aside out of our operating expenses and put it aside for savings, and we're still running ahead with that. And what we want to do is we want to sit on that money for a little bit, wait on something that needs to be accomplished, and do it. And on the back side of all of this, when we see ourselves as being healthy, we'll be able to dip into that would-be savings account and either do some projects or pay off some debt. But we want to make sure that we're being good stewards, and you're doing that. So we want to tell you thank you. And one of the ways that we've been able to do ministry is today, we were able to feed some of our South Carolina National Guard members and using your gifts. And these are some men that are in our area that are doing tornado disaster relief, and we were able to feed them today. So ministry is still happening, and we're able to save up for what needs to be finished. There's a lot of things we've just kind of put off because we've had to, and now we have things that we want to do. So thank you for giving, and keep in mind that we've put some money aside, and we are anticipating doing a lot with that in the near future. Now, let me tell you a little bit about May 17th. On May 17th is supposed to be our quarterly business meeting on Sunday evening at 6 p.m. But obviously right now we cannot physically gather in that way. So we're not going to be doing your traditional type calling into conference. But here's what we're going to do. we're going to have an evening service that night, just like we've been doing on every quarter. We've now had this will be our 5th together since I became interim pastor a year ago. So we had last May, then August, then November. Our last one was in February. So this will be our May business meeting, and rather than actually having a business meeting, we're going to give you ministry reports. You're going to hear from some people on our finance team about how we are doing finance-wise. You're going to hear from me about how the church is functioning. You're going to hear from our one of our deacons about how we're going to push forward, because that's supposed to be a night of deacon nominations. That's supposed to be a night where we present to you the workers for our birth through college age volunteers, which when we're not meeting, it's hard to have volunteers. So we're going to give you an update as to what we're doing as a church. You'll also hear from James, our student pastor. You'll hear about what's going on in children's ministry. You'll hear some new details about Sunday school. And also on that night, Jimmy Sanders, our operations pastor, will be giving you phase 1 of what it looks like to regather as a church. So this is going to be a special service apart from our Sunday morning. This is going to take place in lieu of our business meeting and tell you what's going on in the church. So it's going to be a night of ministry reports, and we'll give you more details about that. But we do want you to know we knew that the quarterly business meeting was coming. We had a plan for it, and we're going to work that plan in just a different way because we want to keep you informed. And then, again, we told you about our new series coming up starting that morning. But let me tell you about everything going on this week. Again, tomorrow night, 6:30, we have our drive-in service. The idea of preaching, and not only me preaching, but you hearing preaching. How do we get back into the rhythm of that and prepare our hearts for that? Student ministry is going to meet tomorrow night at 7:30. We had a huge crowd last week, so if you're a teenager, check in with James tomorrow night. Women's ministry meeting tomorrow night at 8 o'clock after the drive-in service. Sunday school, make sure you tell Bobby thank you. He's doing an incredible job teaching you the Sunday school lesson week after week after week. So check that out on Thursday at noon. Our men's meeting is on Thursday night at 9. And then our service goes live once again this Sunday, 8 a.m. And then finally, we'll see you back next Tuesday at 3 o'clock for our Facebook update. Now, before we close, I do want to tell you that we're very encouraged at the thought of regathering together again. And again, our goal is to meet together in person in some way in the month of May. Now, before we do that, here's what has to happen. We have to pray that God would give us wisdom. He would give us discernment. That He would give us passion. He'd give us flexibility to understand that people have a different idea of regathering than I might. Or that you might. So everyone watching this video today probably has a different way that they think it should be accomplished. So we're going to pray for flexibility. We're going to pray for patience through all this. And we're going to ask God to give us a mind of Christ that understands that, I've said this almost every week, that normal can't just take place. We want to be bigger than normal. We don't want to settle for the status quo. We want to go beyond that. So as we prepare to regather together, we're kind of calling ourselves into a season of prayer to say, God, what is it that you want to do, and when do you want to do it? How do you want to do it? And then see what happens on the other side of all of this. So we look forward to seeing you. I hope you'll be here tomorrow night at 6:30 for our drive-in service. Looking forward to hearing all the horns honking, the music time together. Everything's going to be wonderful. I look forward to seeing your faces. And then I love the idea that we can anticipate gathering together again. So in the meantime, I want to tell you I love you on behalf of myself and my family and our staff. Thank you for being generous. Thank you for being worshipful. Thank you for being encouraging to us. Make sure you tell the staff you love them. Everyone's working so hard. I can't begin to even tell them thank you enough. Again, from the grounds with Lewis, Sunday School with Bobby, what Alan and Haley are doing media-wise, Michael leading our worship time, James and Allison and Sherry doing students and children, preschool and nursery, loving on all of our families, Debbie managing all of our stuff with our finances and our calendar, the ladies in the office. Everyone's doing an absolutely incredible job, and we can't tell you thank you enough for encouraging us. But make sure you go out of your way and tell them you love them. In the meantime, we love you. We look forward to seeing you around. We'll see you very soon.